Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a new game that a lot of people are pretty pumped for, myself included. It's South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Ubisoft and those guys were kind enough to invite me, Duncan and Martin to visit them. They gave us a hands-on playthrough of the game and we got about 2 hours to play. It's enough time to really sink our teeth into it, and we did have a blast. So what's the deal with the new South Park game? I mean, does it deliver as much as the previous one? And what are the big changes? And most importantly, is it as funny? But there's a lot of stuff embargoed. I mean, there's some stuff we can't show. Understandably, they want to keep a lot of stuff under their hats. And I'm looking at a long list, pretty much as long as my arm, of the cooler stuff that we weren't quite allowed to show. As much as that frustrates me, I can see why. Some of the stuff is really, really good, and you're going to want to play through that yourself and not have the meat of the pie, basically, spoiled by this preview. So anyway, let's jump in. So you start off at character creation. You get a nice array of clothes, colours, hairstyles and beards to go through. Most people like to try and create an as true to life as possible representation of themselves, and hey, I'm no different, so I set about building an accurate representation of myself. Oh yeah, pink bunches, and that mustache, obviously. Oh, and also if you want to play the game on hard mode, you can change your skin color, but it doesn't actually change the difficulty of the game.
Don't worry, this doesn't affect combat. Just every other aspect of your whole life.
Oh, hello. The boys are down in their little basement playroom.
Okay, so after a short prologue that teaches you the turn mechanics of the game, it's a turn-based combat game. Once that's over with, you find yourself in Cartman's place, and his basement is where shit's going down. But oh, it's locked. There's a key code here, and we don't know the combination. So we've got to take a look around his place to find the code. There's a whole bunch of wacky stuff around his house. Just a quick look through his closet is pretty interesting, but it's pretty much just Cartman things. There's also a bunch of crafting mats in like the drawers here and there, and we picked all those up for later because you never know, you might sell them, you might craft something, and there is some cool crafting later on, so we'll get to that probably in the next video. Aha, so here we go. It's Cartman's journal, and it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect to find in Eric's diary. There's some spicy pictures, hoo hoo hoo, and there we go. Oh, what's this? Oh yes, it's what we're looking for. It's a secret code to his lair. So it's time to take a quick pass of the rest of the house. Make sure we don't miss any Easter eggs, because honestly, one of the best things about this game is all the little things you can find. Try not to dwell on the toys that you find in both Cartman's room and his mum's. Oh my. If you're a fan of the series, there's going to be so many things that you're going to notice and see. They're going to make you think, oh yeah, that's from this episode, that's from then. And it's kind of cool to kind of see the behind the scenes of these characters in a world you can explore yourself outside of the show. And oh my god, what's this? So there's a whole new series of mini-games, right, that are based around the toilet. I guess in a game called The Fractured But Whole. It's going to be a thing, right? Each toilet you find gives you new and interesting ways to pinch a loaf, or squeeze out a number 2, whatever. It's a quick-timey thing. It's going to remind you just how much you forgot about what buttons are where on a PS4 controller. I'm not used to that. I always get confused with the triangles and the squares and whatever. Is it top, left, right? Sure. I guess you guys are probably a bit more au fait if you use the PlayStation a bit more than I do. But anyway, I feel like we managed to drop a satisfying load into the pan. Oh, nice. And we head on down to mess around with the keypad. Now, these toilets are found all over the world, and each one of them, they get more and more challenging, depending on usually how hidden the toilet is. Oh, but some of them are real gems.
Yes, officer, somebody appears to have put lava in front of my door. Well, no, it's not hot, but my son told me I will burn to death if I try and cross it. Uh-huh. Oh, yes, he did tell me that if I step on a crack, it would break my mother's back.
Okay, so even when you know the code for Cartman's super secret superhero basement, you can't help but screw around with just the keypad, so I was just having some childish fun here with the words, trying to make some stupid jokes.
Shark.
But anyway, we kind of crack that and head on down to the basement. And it's on to pissing off Cartman, which is surprisingly or unsurprisingly pretty easy to do.
Entire Milky Way galaxy. Jesus fuck! Mom! The new kid is trying to play with the cube of ultimate destruction!
You be nice to all your friends, Eric. Be a good sharer.
Good sharer! It'll blow up the fucking galaxies! Stupid bitch! Look, dude, we already told you, you can't play. You aren't a superhero. You don't have a costume. You don't have any superpowers. Alright, look, you can watch us play superheroes as long as you don't get in the way. Make yourself useful. Go grab me the Stefernacy device. It's over there.
We bop around his basement for a bit, after a little confusion.
Fucking stop! You touch it again and we all fucking die! Hey, I told you not to fuck with that! Well, that took long enough. Is the Stefernacy device active? You really want to be a superhero, huh? Play with the big boys? Well, maybe. Maybe you can be useful. Have a seat at the table, douchebag. Let's see, mosquitoes, ABLs. Jesus Christ, are these even in a human language?
We managed to convince him we're exactly the kind of hero he needs in his super organization.
Alright, in order to play superheroes, you have to have a superhero persona. Then you can fill out your character sheet on Coonstagram. Do you have a Coonstagram page? Oh boy, you're not even on Coonstagram, huh? Well, I guess I can create one for you. Fucking unbelievable. Let's see.
And now here we go. Oh yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. The real meat of the game. Picking
Since
what
you're a newbie,
kind of
you can only choose
superhero
between three
you're going to
for
be.
now.
I was sitting next to Duncan while we were playing through, and I said, what are you going to be? And he was like, oh, I'm going to be Blaster. And it makes sense because he likes mages. There's also like a brute-style punchy guy who's about tanking and being a heavy hitter. He kind of looks like Ben 10 from the Fantastic Five. But I was so impressed by Fast Pass that Speeder was the only logical choice for me. It's a really fun archetype. It's got some really awesome moves.
So yeah, what an amazing
and we'll
moment
get
for
onto
you. You must
those
be excited.
super soon. Get it?
A sense of urgency is also an important trait for superheroes. This is kind of a big moment in your superhero life. I don't know, I guess I was just expecting a little more enthusiasm. Why don't you pick something and I can tell you more about it and we can move on with our lives? Fine, be an asshole. Maybe that'll be your superhero class, with the special powers of wasting my time and pissing me off. Okay, douchebag, but now, we need to find out what terrible thing in your past drives you. You see, douche, all superheroes have a compelling backstory. It's from that backstory that their powers gain meaning. Let's take you back to when you were just a child. You lay awake that night. Like so many other nights, you couldn't sleep because you knew you weren't like the other kids. You walked to the mirror.
Okay, so Speed's the picked. It's time to think about a backstory, and it is true, the piano is really fun to play. Oh man, so often like you're poked in a direction around the game, but you can't help but just like ignore that and kind of explore, go where you're not supposed to,
no, not there.
and hopefully find some Easter eggs.
God damn it.
So yeah, every hero is basically defined by their past, by their backstory, what drove him to pursue or her a life of heroism and crime fighting. Well, let's find out.
You hear your mother calling for help. You left your room. Out in the hallway, you saw two intruders in front of your parents' door. You had to stop them from hurting your parents. You knew you had the power to stop them, so for the first time, you called upon your speedster powers. As a super fast speedster hero, you bent space-time itself to spring into action with super speed. You moved in closer to the intruder to deliver a quantum punch.
And then it's in the backstory that you are taught the mechanics of the game. How does your class work? What are its moves? And how are you going to go through combat?
Once his
So
atoms
you get a
returned to
cool
their original
punch.
positions, the intruder
Pretty
realized
cool.
what he was up
And it
against.
shows you
He
on the
vibrated
ground
in his
exactly
subatomic
where
particle
you can
to
hit
become an unstoppable
with these
high-energy
moves.
body.
The next ability is a buff. And this is a really cool buff actually. It lets you take 2 extra moves in one turn, but it does cause you to skip the next
Once
turn.
charged,
So
you
it's a
became
great
empowered to
thing
use
to
2
pop
attacks in the same
if you think you
turn.
can finish somebody
Like
off
first.
and make the fight easier for your comrades. And then the third move is a dash, and that positions you behind whoever you hit. And there's some knockback too. The combat in this game is, it really is all about positioning yourself well and protecting your dudes, making sure the right people take the right hits. And yeah, it's very kind of tactical.
I just flushed one little shit. Here's one more.
So all the moves that
Before
let
you
you
could react,
position
he
yourself
swung
or
his gargantuan
reposition
fist in your
yourself
small body,
really
doing
help
critical
later
damage.
on. but you'll see that when you play the game. And then it's
Doctor,
time
from
for
your
the
double-edged
boss,
charge, you could only
and that's
watch
the
as
best
he
place
continued to follow
to
you.
showcase
Can't run away from
the
this.
signature move. Now the signature
Well,
move
yes,
for the
but
speedster
your
is
true had a
Hyperspace
critical
Fury.
mistake. He pissed
It's
you
pretty cool.
off.
You charge in and you
Summoning the
punch
last of your
really, really,
strength,
really,
you
really,
tap
really
into your
fast.
ultimate
Think about like
ability,
E-Honda,
Hyperspace Fury.
but slimmer.
Nice.
He was just too speedy.
And so you beat them. All seemed to be okay. But then you finally reached your parents' door. And what you saw when you opened that door changed your life forever and led you to fighting crime. You were too late, because when you opened that door, you saw your dad fuck your mom. Wow,
And they're forming a
that's
baby.
A pretty heavy backstory. You fight crime because you never forgot the night you weren't in time, and you saw your own father, the man you trusted, fuck your mom. It's like a ripple in time you can't ever change, isn't it? All right, now that you're a superhero, I have a mission for you. I need you to go out into town and try to get as many followers as you can on Coonstagram. It's the only way our franchise will survive.
Whew, okay, so that trauma behind us. We've got a bicycle helmet. We're a superhero now. Freaking amazing. Got a stack of special moves.
You should visit the King.
And a goal. We're going to hit the streets and build up our Instagram following. Now that's it for part 1. We're going to come back and show off the rest of the preview that me and Duncan were allowed to go through, and Martin too. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe. Thank you to Ubisoft for inviting us up and supporting these videos. And stay tuned. Keep an eye on the skies. Till next time, take care.
You're welcome.